today we have a total of 102 confirmed cases in the laboratory. Please follow this at this point. 102 confirmed cases as of this date that I'm reporting. Confirmed in the lab. That is those cases from January 1st, 2024 till now. Remember we said they are accumulated because they build up, right? Okay, it's not cases that we confirm today. They then confirm over the time. Out of those cumulative 102 cases, 77 of those, remember we talked about the recovery? 77 of those have recovered out of that general case. So we are left with only 25 to deal with that are active. When they are active, meaning those are cases that we are treating. They are not recovered yet. So we have a total of 102 laboratory confirmed, meaning over the time, that's the number we confirmed from January 1st, 2024 to today, May 22nd, 2025. So you see where we are. Out of that, 77 of those have recovered over time. So when you subtract that from the 102, you have 25 remaining. Now we are treating these 25. Over time, we are very confident given the skills that we have developed that we will begin to recover. We did not stop it there because the virus is around us. Now, because this question keeps coming up, we have to address it since the announcement by our celebrity comedian. First, that shows that our awareness is working. Nevertheless, we need to improve it because how can somebody just see themselves and say, this is a disease I have. He must have heard about it. He or she must have known something about it, heard it from somewhere to know that maybe I got this disease. Just when we were coming from the borders, someone also was in a taxi that reported themselves from Sierra Leone. That person drove to Sierra Leone for a conference. They were coming, they went there, and then they started feeling some way and started feeling some things on their skin, itching and those kind of things. So they said, it looks like I'm having this disease. He chartered a taxi. He said, taxi, take me alone, don't put anybody else in here. So you see the awareness that we have been given. How I said that this person would just tell everybody else, don't come in the taxi, I will be in here, let the driver carry me back to Monrovia. And they drove them back to Monrovia, they reported themselves, and we took samples, we are looking at those samples presently. But this tells you the level of the kind of awareness that we have been doing. It's signaling to us that the Ministry of Information is doing well in propagating our message, just as we are doing here now, and all of you are doing, and the celebrities themselves that are joining us in this process. Several of them have called on us, like Sosobe, who is our home Enfield person. You know her, she's on TikTok, she's on various social media. Kobasi has come forth, Gary the blogger, and many of them have come forth and said that we want to help to carry this message. Because what? One of their own celebrities got infected and announced it to everybody. And we really thank him, this celebrity of ours, for this brave, patriotic public health promotion that he did. He didn't shy away, and he started advising people, when you get there, just as Enfield is saying, report yourself, you will be taken care of. And you can see we have 0 deaths, right? So please be confident that we can really take care and handle it. You have been here and sent us many questions regarding what's going on in Sierra Leone. It is concern to us. Last year we paid a visit to Sierra Leone. The Enfield here visited the border at Kuwor side and various border points around the country in order to strengthen our border surveillance, right? Just as we have the border guys, we the health and public health people, we also have border people here at the borders to see who's coming in the country, what they have, what they don't have, and if they have any symptom of anything, we isolate them and we can treat them if we find something. So we went there to strengthen that, and we went across the border to our Sierra Leonean brothers and sisters and exchanged messages, told them what we were doing in Liberia with our response, the strategies and the tactics that we were using. I am in constant contact with Dr. Fodesar, who is the Executive Director of the National Public Health Agency. A very nice brother. We exchange text messages, we call each other every time to exchange information, and we send them a letter also to extend our helping hand in terms of diagnostics and in terms of genetic sequencing. Genetic sequencing is another technology that we brought into the country that is helping us with our response. It helps us to know what is circulating. Remember during COVID time, we were seeing COVID, Omicron, COVID this, COVID that. Now they have multiple this and that. So we used to send our samples outside a long time ago, but when we brought that technology in, Liberian young scientists that we are training are now capable of detecting and knowing what we have. Through that, in Liberia, we did our sampling and we know that our test results show we have mpox clade 2A and clade 2B. So clade is type, that's all. The simple term is type. We have mpox clade 2A and clade 2B. Sierra Leone has clade 2A. Now, in our neighboring country, they currently have 14 deaths. Because most of you have posed these questions and we say wait until we address you before we can show you the differences so that we don't treat them one by one. We have 0 deaths. In neighboring Sierra Leone, they have the new cases that are detected just recently, or they came across 111. We got about 5 or 6 to 10 cases just recently. The total active cases, remember our active cases presently are 25. The total active cases in our sister country are 1,904, and this data is of May 21st. We share data with each other so that we know what's going on. So yesterday, as part of our response efforts, I, along with leadership of the Enfield, led a response team, including the Ministry of Health, the case management, the infection control, and the diagnostics, and other public health responders, including our division for epidemiology, infectious disease and epidemiology. We went to the border. That was our second time visiting there. Remember, we went there before, and we shared experience with them again, expressed our concern about the situation there, and told them anytime you have too many cases and you are overwhelmed, we are right here across the border. Send some of them, those samples, we can test them for you and send you back the results immediately. If you want sequencing done on them, we can do the genomic sequencing and send them back to you. So you don't have to spend too much money to fly those samples all the way to Senegal or Nigeria to do that, because you can just right across the border of the bus and we can do that for you. So Liberia offer that service. The Africa CDC knows of our activities. I presented the Africa CDC, which is the African Center for Disease Control, the continental public health entity on our continent, and presented these findings and this data to them to discuss that. We are currently responding and we're doing everything possible to increase our response. What we want to indicate is that the public and the population should remain calm, do not panic, rest assured that we are enabling and dealing with the mpox virus very vigorously, and we are doing everything possible to ensure that it does not blow out of proportion like it is in the Central African countries, in DR Congo. Look at your statistics, you know what's going on there. In Nigeria, in our region, and Ghana, I just started picking up cases again as well. Ivory Coast right next to us, I started picking up cases. And guess what? The West Africa Health Organization contacted Liberia to go to the Ivory Coast and exchange information and statistics with the Ivorian public health authorities. And we did that sometimes this year, early this year. It was sponsored by WAHU. Thanks to Dr. Locuso and his team at WAHU that sponsored it. Why? Because they saw us doing the same thing with Sierra Leone. So they asked for it would do it with Africa. We said sure. And they sponsored that. The next one we want to do it along with Guinea so that we can do a monetary union exchange of information. So currently that's where we are. That is the difference between what we are doing here the response, the numbers that are coming up, and what you have been asking us about through the text messages and emails, what's going on in neighboring Sierra Leone. I know we are all afraid because of what happened during Ebola, but we have learned lessons from that, and we are doing everything possible to address the situation from the National Public Health Institute in collaboration with other agencies, being the Ministry of Health. So again, to summarize, we have 0 deaths. Nobody has died since we started responding to this. We have 25 active cases. Our neighbors have 14 deaths and 1,904 active cases. It does not please us because when we first reported, we were praying in our IMS meeting that we hope it comes down. At that time, it just has 2 cases. And we started our response before them. So we're really praying, and that's why we offer our help to them. Anything that they need, we are there, we are ready to supply. As you know, the National Public Health Institute was designated by the Africa CDC as a regional center of excellence for what we have been doing. So they evaluate all the MPhils around and they give us the grade. We need to tell you that Liberia's public health currently under our leadership is on top of this game. We are not saying we are the best and the best and the best. There's a lot to learn, and we will humble ourselves to learn, but we appreciate if we are classified in certain group areas and we can build up upon that. Now, with that group classification, we are using it also to help the others because that's upon us the responsibility to do the same. We want to thank the Liberian government, headed by His Excellency Joseph Boakai and his Civil Deputy, Honorable Jeremiah Kuhn, our Vice President, and everyone in the government, the Health Committee in the Senate and the Health Committee in the House of Representatives, where we recently also provided an update that have been helping and have been concerned. We need more resources in order to continue this good work that we are doing with all the difficulties that we are having, so that government can take hold of its own health and public health response. These resources we need them for public health response and for health care. So I stand here to ask the government for more resources, budgetary augmentations for MPhil and for the Ministry of Health. If we don't take care of our own situation, no one will take care of it for us. One other thing that I wanted to announce is the issue of influenza. You know what we call flu, right? Sometimes you get close to that flu. There is human flu and there is what we call bird flu. Sometimes ago it was announced by Reuters news agency, and I'm saying this since we are at this forum, that Liberia has outbreak of bird flu. And you know what that means for any country? Country's image, the economy particularly so, since we have our own little poultry farm that actually poultry products. Where that information came from, we investigated, we worked along with the Central Veterinary Lab, we tested the samples, and I can tell you the National Public Health Institute has the capacity to launch any scientific investigation under our watch, and we can produce results that are internationally validated. We tested samples, they were negative, and so we pronounced to the world that Liberia, so far, from the government standpoint, does not have bird flu in this country. We did our rounds and went to poultry farms also to ask people, are you, I mean, just that practical things, instead of just sitting and doing statistics. And people, nobody is reporting that their poultry, their chickens are dying. Nobody is reporting that. So where did this information come from? If you heard me on OKFM recently, somebody had written and posed that question, and Julius J read it out. In fact, the callers also indicated that they didn't know anything about bird flu in this country. Those who even had their little poultry farm were saying all their chickens were alive. The other young person made a joke that our chicken just went to sleep because it was already in the afternoon. So nothing like that in this country. We are calling on through this media, Reuters news agency and other news agencies that reported that to please correct their news, and the corrections should also go to the World Organization of Animal Health. So that's the status of mpox in the country, and I wanted to also announce to you that from the test we did on the samples we took from this area, we didn't find anything in that, and we would not really want to see anything in the direction that was reported. If you were negative, and we don't have bird flu in this country. If you have bird flu, humans will be catching it because it transmits to humans. You see how we have mpox, right? As we said, it's zoonotic, it comes from animals. So bird flu also can be zoonotic, it can come from animals, those birds, they can come to humans, and you will see humans will start having human cases. We regularly subsidize for influenza, and we are not really seeing that. It's not something we just go to test for because somebody announced it, but regularly we test for it, and we are not seeing it. So thank you very much. Thanks to everyone. Thanks to the Nigerian people in the world for listening. Any help that any organization has out there, we will highly appreciate it for the Ministry of Health and for public health and to respond to this outbreak that has been announced by the WHO. Thank you very much.
And thanks to Dr. Chris Tubanya for that detailed presentation. You don't know what a country is in terms of the fight against mpox, how strong we are, zero fatality, strong recovery cases, and what have you. We take Councilor Ama, and then we get to take all the questions. I'm not speaking. This presentation will be very concise. I can assure you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. Honorable Geraldine Martin. Honorable Geraldine Martin and your legal deputies, John Itapa, Daniel Sando, Aliatu Dips, Assistant Minister, Acting Assistant Minister Famole, DG Olina, Subonta, Dr. Dube Krishna, MPhil, thank you so much for your presentation. Colleagues in the media, I call you colleagues because I still feel part of you. Many of you will remember, or those of you who are new, let me inform you that many days I mounted this podium and did what Sando was just doing, and played our role that he played. So I feel at home. And so before I go into why I'm here, I would like to take this time to thank Minister Kia and his team for the tremendous transformation done there, both in terms of the structural upgrade of the ministry and the innovation that has been deployed in the execution of the GTI's information disseminator government. Thank you so much. So my colleagues, I'm here as a designee of the Minister of Foreign Affairs. My Excellency Sarah Besnett, who would have loved to be here. She's equally engaged with matter that has equal significance as what I'm doing here. So she extends her apologies and will definitely avail herself the next time she's called to deal with this very important matter. So quickly, let me provide an update of where we are as a country with respect to our bid for a non-permanent seat. As a matter of fact, one of two non-permanent seats on Security Council that will be vacated by Algeria and Sierra Leone at the end of 2025. And when we win, not if we won, when we win, we will commence our 2-year term in January. So for the last almost 1 year, we've been engaged in a well-coordinated campaign to secure one of those seats that I just talked about. And the campaign has been led by Her Excellency Sarah Bestoyanti, who is the lead campaigner. She's made several visits. She's led several missions across the world. She's been to Eastern Europe, across Africa, Middle East, leading the campaign for our bid. She's assisted by an advisory team of former foreign ministers who have been very supportive. Our global campaign coordinator is our permanent representative in the UN, Ambassador Lucy G. Brown, who has been leading activities, who has been coordinating all the activities at the UN and regularly reporting back to the ministry. He has been supported by the President, who has deployed special envoys to deliver messages that reinforce our campaign efforts. As we speak, former Foreign Minister Dr. Toga Gini Architect is currently in the Gulf of Guinea, accompanied by Assistant Minister Saran Kaba-Jones, who is also a Special Assistant to the Minister of Foreign Affairs. They were recently in Sao Tome and Principe, and they will be meeting the President of Gabon today. Also, former Foreign Minister and Senator Governor Finley, as one of those special envoys, is currently leading a mission to Burundi and the Comoros to deliver special messages from our President. Former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf was recently in Southern Africa to deliver messages to presidents in that region in support of our bid. My colleague, Dr. Ibrahim Nair, is currently in Brussels at the Africa EU Summit, where he's also been having bilaterals and have been also putting our messages for Security Council, non-permanent seat on the Security Council. So we campaigned so well in a coordinated fashion that our confidence level is so high. We're definitely going to win the seat. On a clean slate for that matter. Because no other country has challenged our bid. So there are 2 vacant seats. There will be 2 vacant seats. And we are going, it is us and the Democratic Republic of Congo are going for those 2 seats. We're very confident that we're going to win those seats. So, do we have the credentials for sitting on the Security Council as a non-permanent member? Yes. Liberia has been a champion of multilateral cooperation. Many of you have read that we were the trailblazer in Africa when it came to multilateral cooperation. We hosted the inaugural meeting for the establishment of the OU that is now AU. Of course, you know we were also eminent. We had an eminent presence in the formation efforts of ECOWAS and MRE. So this goes to say that we as a country have come far. we've come far. We need to go back and take our state's committee of nations. We've done it before, we can do it again. When it comes to security, we have very good records. We led these people in efforts in Congo before. Recently, we led these people in efforts in Sahel. As the Minister of Foreign Affairs, she's been engaged in efforts in the Sahel region. You all know what's happening in the Sahel. Members of the Sahel and various ECOWAS, our minister has been trying to navigate and see how there can be a relationship, even if they're not coming back to ECOWAS. So, and you know our minister has also been a champion in Europe, leading these efforts in places such as Yemen, Nepal, the Gambia, and all of that. So, yes, Liberia is ready and prepared to sit on the Security Council as a non-permanent member. So this is about Liberia. We thank the media for what you've done so far. We expect you to continue to support us. It's a win for all of us as a nation. Let's continue to work together to secure the seat. And I'd also like to, before I close, piggyback on some of the good things that are happening at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. As Sandro said, and this will have a relationship to the issue of current health situation that we're dealing with. You know, the Passport Bureau was one place that was always crowded. There is now a new director who is very innovative, who has deployed mechanism to congest that passport session. If you went there now, you will see one person. It's one of the serenest and cleanest places in the Republic of Liberia. Daniel told you that we're about to establish other centers across the country to create access for our people and to also make it easy to apply passports. Now you don't have to come to the passport bureau, you can pay at various banks. You have designated centers where you can pay your money and come to get a passport. And when the passports are ready, you are informed by text message. So these are some of the good things that are happening at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Time is fast spent. I'd like to thank you for listening, and we'll be ready to take your questions. Thank you. So, sorry, I missed out on a very important event. So, we're closing the campaign on the 27th, which is on